So let's get on with our next speaker. And of course, this is a structured sales approach. And I'm delighted to welcome our first keynote speaker this afternoon. And it's Mihir Kulkarni, CEO of 24 Karat Training. Now, Mihir is a highly accomplished and renowned international corporate trainer and motivational speaker, business coach with a rich experience spanning 17 years. So he's going to have you standing on your heads, clapping. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome, Mihir.
Good afternoon. Hello, what happened? Are you aware of the fact that sales require energy? Without energy, sales do not happen. Right? Let's do it one more time. Good afternoon. Yeah, that's a lot better. My topic for today, a very interesting topic. It's a very lengthy one. I'm sure by the time you read the entire line, 2 or 3 sales could be made. But it's interesting topic, how a structured sales approach can enhance sustainability and growth for an SME in a fluctuating market condition. How many of us struggle with ambitious targets? Can I see a show of hands, please? Struggle with ambitious targets. Okay. For any organization to survive, sales is essential. Without sales, no organization can ever survive. You can even think of an NGO, a non-profit organization. For them, concept sales is required to get funding. So even if there is no physical transaction also happening, there is still concept sales that is happening. About a couple of days ago, you must have experienced or seen rainfall in Dubai, right? Did that get you thinking, when there is rain, how do people drive? Is it possible to drive the same way when there is no rain and when there is rain? Is your driving style the same? Can it be the same? And that is the question which you should ask yourself. People like me, we generally go ahead and have a careful driving stance. So we put 2 hands on the steering instead of 1. We are on the lookout of which are the passing vehicles. Nothing wrong should happen. The car should not skid. And that is a part of careful driving. If this happens because there was rain or because there was sandstorm, that is how the market is also reacting right now. So if the market is fluctuating, we need to still go ahead and have a safeguarded approach towards our sustainability. And that is what structured sales is all about. This was in news recently, New York. The bull denotes the ups and downs in the market. And this is an SME. There are a lot of factors which affect the growth of an SME, and these are considered to be the challenges. First, foremost, any SME would agree to the fact that getting funding at lesser rate is a big challenge. Today, there are banks which are opening up and they have started giving preferential rates. There is a 2021 target of growing the SME market in the UAE. Have you heard about the bankruptcy law which is going to get passed or which is under discussions? Yes? And that is definitely something which is going to be beneficial for the SME market. What other challenges do you think SMEs would face? apart from securing finance to grow your business? What other challenges do you think you face? Anybody? Sales. Fantastic. And this is also something which is very important because there is increased competition in the market. Today, if I, as Mihir, decide to open up a business, if I have the monopoly, if my product is fantastic product and it has never been there in the market, I start making profits, I capture the market. But what happens is there is someone else who sees me in action, who says that, oh, Mihir is making profits, Mihir is getting the materials from XYZ company, Mihir is manufacturing it over here at this cost, why can't I do that? And that's when someone comes in the market and they start dividing the market. So now the profits get shared. Then there is a third person. This third person says, if two people are making profits, why can't I make profits? And the third person jumps in. Then the fourth, and then the fifth. And competition increases. Today, when we speak about even getting fundings and even that the government being supportive towards our business, it is not just supportive to our business, it is also being supportive to our competitors. Now, they also have access to funds, which means they can also grow, which means our business is at stake again. Getting in the right talent is also one of the challenges which is faced by SMEs. If you consider this region, over here the salaries are pretty high as compared to some of the other markets, other international markets. If the salaries are high and we are SMEs, we may not be able to bring in the right kind of talent up over here at that price point. So which means we might have to settle for less. Is that helpful for us that if the market is fluctuating, we might get access to those richer talents and can bring them up in our organization? So this market fluctuation could also be an opportunity which can be capitalized or which can be used. Weather changes, attire changes, weather changes, your approach changes. With the market fluctuations that you would experience, and these market fluctuations are not just for a region, not just for a country, but they are universal. Laws change, economic status changes, technology changes, competition changes, and your strategy changes. So one is adapting to these strategies, adapting to the financial changes which are happening in the market, adapting to everything. Charles Darwin, he had mentioned this, that there is always going to be a fight for survival. This is the fight for existence, and the survival is going to be the fittest. Every single day, there are a lot of SMEs which are born, and every single day, there are a lot of SMEs which get closed down. Recently, it was in news that in the Dubai region, 95% of the organizations which are over here, they are SMEs. One might say that 95% is a very big number. In the Asian market, it is 98. Wow. That 3% also makes a lot of difference. So fluctuating markets, there are always opportunities for the fluctuating markets, as well as there are not so good points which are also related. Doing a SWOT analysis definitely helps. I'm sure many of us over here who are into business, they're aware of what a SWOT analysis is. But how frequently do you perform that SWOT analysis? That is something which is very critical. Ideally, they would say that a SWOT analysis should be done after every 6 months at least, so that you get to know who is the competition, what are the changes which are happening, which laws are changing, and a nice SWOT analysis which will help you to take that business forward for at least another 6 months with your targets set in mind. Any clue on how many parts are over here? You can't even count the smallest of the parts and the biggest of the parts. But just think about it, that when a business started, when the concept started, that yes, I want to go ahead and do a business, at that point of time, what all factors were put in place? Each of this factor is important. If you look at even the smallest of a nut over here, if that nut was not there, things could go wrong. When I was discussing about Six Sigma and the implementation of Six Sigma, I came up with a nice statistics that if the car manufacturers were 99.999999% accurate with all of these parts, there will be still about 1100 accidents every day. And that is something which is probably to learn from, that we cannot afford to have mistakes. Any small mistakes, any small error, any point which is not thought of can result in our business going down. So detailed planning for each of the aspect is essential. Now for an SME, it is also very difficult to think about all of these points. How many points can you think of? And do we have the right kind of brains with us? I'm not talking about just the brain over here, but probably surrounded by brains. And do we have access to those think tanks? Any idea is not a bad idea. Gathering those ideas, making sure that you evaluate each idea, and then implementation. That is one of the key in growth and sustainability. It's also a very nice image. When you have a look at it, this is Michael Jordan. And there is a clock up over there. It says 6.6. And that is probably the last shot that he is going to take. That's the winning shot. To get to that stage, he had to prepare hard. He prepared in each and every single aspect of basketball game. As a player, he has lifted weights. Now, you might say that all he has to do is lift a basketball. Why lift weights? He has been, during practice, sprinting 100 meters. Essential to be a basketball player. Essential to reach at that level of perfection. So this last shot is not just really the last shot. It is all his years of hard work, years of practice which has come into play. For an SME also, clinching that deal, that might be the only opportunity that you get. But to reach there, there is a lot of hard work, there is a lot of practice, there is a lot of patience which is required for you to be a professional. One of the ways is innovate and collaborate. We were talking about these cars. So when you speak of cars also, there is a lot of innovation which is required to get things moving. Assembly line, making sure that all the cost is reduced. It requires a lot of innovation. And I believe that every single person up over here today, you have opportunity to collaborate, interlink with each other, find out more about each other's business, and see how that business can be helpful for you. Thank you very much for your time, and I wish you all the best.